you. Hello and welcome to the Future Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. Uh,
Oh my
My
God.
gosh.
That's
Sorry,
funny.
sorry, I had to add some levity to this. All right. Um, I already regret my quote. We got Cameron Mickle on the podcast,
I got $20 for you right now.
and we've got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
This next song is called I'm Sad. I'm so very, very sad.
What movie is that from?
That's Scott Pilgrim, dude.
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott
That
Yeah,
Pilgrim.
wrong
song,
movie.
no, that song describes this movie perfectly. Get out of
Now,
town.
the only question we have is why do you hate the veterans so much, Jordan? Let's get into it.
So sad.
Jordan, we all want to hear why do you hate veterans so much?
This next song goes out to the guy on onto the balcony. We hate you. Please die. Sorry, I gotta. I'm just quoting Scott Pilgrim. Wait, are we getting right into it? All right, I guess if you want me to talk, I will. It's Ty is upset because he wanted to review this movie ages ago, and I said no because I got to the part right when he shot himself, the scene that Ty was making a joke about, and I stopped watching it, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this. And then Ty's like, I want to review it, and I'm like, no. So here,
This is
but
your first time watching it?
finishing it, I got to that scene, so yes, it's the first time I finished
Which
it.
is like the first 7 minutes of the movie.
Like, what is that, like
30.
15 minutes in?
30 minutes in.
Oh.
Anyways, I get they say give it 10 minutes and I gave it 30 minutes. That was enough to know what kind of a movie this was going to be. It's depressing as crap.
But man,
Um,
it's so good.
it is, don't get me wrong, but anyways, I just so depressing. And I didn't want Ty to keep complaining because ever since then he's always been like, "You never let me pick my movie," and he always talks about this movie in particular. So I'm glad we're finally getting it out of the way, so Ty can never complain again.
Yeah, get out of the way. These stupid, useless veterans. They're always coming up with a sad movie.
Oh
Get
my
over it already.
gosh.
My gosh. Well, good. Well, Jordan nailed it on the head. I watched this movie years ago when it first came out, and I was like, I really like this movie. This is a side of war films I haven't ever seen before. They
Was
always
this
touch
when you
on
were
this.
like super into? Because there was one time you were really into. What's this guy's name? I always forget his.
Miles Teller, the actor.
Miles Taylor. Is this when you became a big
Yeah,
fan of his?
I think this showcases his range of acting. This and Whiplash, I think, are his two best films. I do like him in War Dogs as well, but I still feel like this showcases a little bit of vulnerability, and I think those are real scars on him, right? I want to look up. He reminds me so much of a young Harrison Ford in a way, where he has like all these scars,
He should
bit
have
of a bad
been
boy. He
Han
should have been
Solo.
Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and Indiana Jones. Yeah.
He could still be. I mean, like a few years from now, I could see him being the young Indy.
What about Shia LaBeouf?
So
Actual
it's just
Shia.
like that's so funny. Miles Teller just plays Indiana Jones, and his son is actually Shia LaBeouf.
Honestly, it would look even more like that.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's so funny. So I saw this movie and I kept hounding Jordan, pestering him to watch it, but he had too much creative control of the podcast. So Cameron and I have fired Jordan, and now he has no say in whether or not we can review this movie finally. And so I'm getting a wish come true, but it was so funny because Jordan yesterday was like, "Oh, just get it over with already."
I just realized you painted your walls black. That's that's like totally the Office episode. Everybody like paints like, yeah, make it black.
Yeah, it makes the theater room really pop.
Super dark.
Yeah, dude, I'm a bit of
It's
a
like
bad boy
Ty's soul.
myself. So Cameron, what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the pod?
Yeah, I watched it for the first time. I can't remember exactly when that was. I think it was like a year or two ago. And it was like I just remember it being very like depressing. And then on the rewatch, it's interesting. I actually feel like it's the inverse of American Sniper because I feel like American Sniper is kind of like hopeful-ish. I mean, it's obviously traumatic, but hopeful-ish through the like first two-thirds, and then the final act is kind of like, especially how it ends, is kind of depressing. Whereas I feel like this is kind of the inverse, where it's like showing all the depressing, and then I feel like it sort of ends hopeful, like that he's like getting help and that like his buddy, the Islander, also is getting help, and like it shows like their real life photos. I thought was really cool, and I feel like it's just so easy. Because even on the rewatch, I couldn't remember if like Miles killed himself, and so I was like, when he was about to pull the trigger, I
Mm.
was like, does he? I can't remember. I just remember being so sad that I was like, it would make sense if he like killed himself because I remember it being so sad. But no, yeah, I was just I think I almost enjoyed it even a little bit more on the rewatch, um, just because I went into it expecting it to be super depressing. So I just feel like I was able to accept it. It's kind of the same thing for like Iron Claw for me. I think first viewing is almost hard to appreciate all the art just because you're like, oh, this is so much. Whereas like on the second viewing, like okay, you're going in expecting it to be much. That way you can kind of appreciate like, oh, this is really interesting. They did this and that. So yeah, enjoyed it. Plus, I'm always a glutton for a depressing movie. So
Mm, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you sharing your experience, Cam, because yeah, I think this movie has to be in the conversation of top 15 horror films of all time. Is it in the top 10? I don't know. I'm torn.
if you
But I'm
like
sure.
this, you need to watch Warfare. This movie is
Yeah.
this movie is literally just the sequel to Warfare.
Well, no, I thought it was the prequel to Whiplash. So, the only thing that was more traumatizing to Miles Teller from what he saw in War was being a drummer to freaking J.K. Simmons's band
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
from
No,
Whiplash.
no, but Warfare
Watch
ties.
our dragon, you big fudge.
Yeah, no, but Warfare is literally just the 10, 15 minutes of war in this movie. Just imagine that for an hour 30. And it's
Oh,
just
jeez.
yeah, it's just you hold your breath of stress and like heartbreak the entire time.
Well, one thing I did want to throw out, so let's get right into it, like things that you observe from it, like top two favorite things of it. Um, I think it's really interesting how little they show of the war. I almost think that they do a good job at least you do see two horrific things, like one specifically horrific thing, but like it's very brief. Like we see so little of it. I think that was a pretty bold choice because sometimes, like you said, Cameron, you want to give the audience a sense of that suspense and everything else, where you kind of get into the head of the soldiers and feel a little bit what they do. But it's
Not
almost just
literally. Sorry.
what's
You
that?
said get into the head of the soldier. It's just
Yeah,
like
I don't want to be in the head of the soldier who had a bullet go through it. That's for sure.
quite literally into it.
Yeah, literally get in the headspace
No,
of
but I
that.
think that I think that's actually what even like you're saying kind of adds to it the fact that
Mm.
I feel like it accurately represents the fact that they're not telling a whole lot. That she's like, I didn't even know you were a hero, and it kind of even plays into that tone and that
Very
theme
cool.
of like you don't know half of the stuff that's going out because it's like you're only seeing snippets, and it's like that was like we saw 4.5 minutes of if that of Iraq, and it's
Hmm.
like and we saw how traumatic that was, and so it's like imagine like he said three like times he got like sent out there. So it's like it's just crazy.
Exactly. Um, um, I would say that I really liked your observation there, Cameron. I think that was really cool how he wasn't very forthcoming. We only see what we need to in order to be horrified, but then it's even revealed later on because you're watching, you're like, yo, the guy's like passing out. He's carrying like 60 to 80 pounds of equipment of his own, carrying a fallen comrade on his back, being shell shocked, running down a flight of like 10 levels of stairs, and he happens to slip and fall off of them. And
And
you're like,
tasting his blood.
yeah, it's like literally like drenched in his blood. Anyway, it's such a sad thing and my gosh, you're right. I cried two or three times in this movie and I was like, I thought there was only one sad part that got me the first time. This one is like three different times where I was like, oh, somebody reach
Mm.
to the screen and give him a hug. Um, but anyway, so this movie's very touching, and like you said, sometimes less is more. I think that's another thing I'd applaud for this movie. But Jordan, since you hated it, let's get your two favorite things out of the way.
No, I didn't hate it. It was good.
Oh, it's just the veterans you hate. Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh, here we go. No, it's a really good movie. The only problem is for me. is there's no levity. Like even in the one that you can't stand, Ty, that
Manchester by the Sea.
thank you, Manchester by the Sea, at least once in a while there's like a joke to kind of break up the
Oh
depression.
yeah. Yeah. Well, no, no, Jordan, you're wrong. See, they brought in Amy Schumer.
Yes.
So Amy
And that was the other thing I
Schumer
was going to
is a
mention
grieving widow, and
is
I watched this entire movie thinking she was funnier in this than she has been in the
oh
last
my
four stand-up
gosh.
comedies she's
I
released.
no, but seriously, when I saw her, it was really hard because I was like, ah, bummer, you're this is like the emotional pivotal moment, and I kept like getting distracted by her. I was like,
Yeah, I thought she
Amy
did a good
Schumer's
job.
like, "Er." What's that, Cameron?
I thought she did a good job.
hmm,
Yeah, she wasn't joking about her body.
uh,
That was great,
yeah. But
flatulence and being
uh,
gross and a disgusting, revolting woman. So I'll give it to her, man. I know I too, Jordan got so taken out of the movie seeing her. I'm like, what is
yes,
she doing in this
I
movie?
know.
Like, it
Yeah.
is probably the thing that's aged the most poorly about this movie.
Th yeah, it was just I feel like that kind of ruined the end scene for me personally. Just because it was just very distracting. I couldn't think of anything else besides, hey, this is Amy Schumacher or however you say her name. And
Amy
then
Schumacher.
and
Amy
she
Schumer.
yeah,
Amy
and then
Schumer.
oh, Schumacher, isn't that another
Joel
actor's name?
Schumacher, the guy that
Joel
ruined
Schumacher.
Batman. Yeah.
That's
Don't
right.
worry. Put him in the same category. It's probably from the same family
Um,
somewhere. Schumer,
but
Schumacher.
and then the other scene, like when the guy that you finally met him and he had the brain thing. It was just such a short scene. I was just like, ah, I hope. And I liked the phone call he had. He was telling him, he's like, hold on to this moment. It was before the phone call, before he met with his, no, it was after he met with the buddy. No, he sent his friend away to and he got the phone call. I can't remember the California thing. He sent his friend away and he's like, hold on to this moment. That was a good moment. So I'll say that's one of my favorite scenes. The guy that called on the phone. It was the only moment of levity. I was just like,
Well,
they're
it's funny
so,
you say that because like I'm thinking of the scene where they're at the bar, the flight home, they were
oh,
joking around. I think there was a
yes,
lot of
that
levity,
Ty,
but
you haven't seen Warfare, but I was gonna ask Cameron, did that scene when they're dancing and singing to the song, did that not remind you of the scene at the opening of
what
For
Warfare?
is
sure.
love?
I like Warfare's better just because it's like right at the beginning and then it just like juxtaposes the rest of the movie that you're just like, oh, this is very different tonally. And it's just like it
Yeah,
helps
but
you
but other movies have done that though, right? Like the
Mm,
tonally shifting. Like I'm thinking of the jump scare from Mel Gibson's Hacksaw Ridge. I'm thinking of Deer Hunter. There's literally a wedding and then it just hard cuts to
mm,
war.
hmm.
There's just like I don't know. I just think other movies have done things like that where you're right. It's like
No,
here's the
you
juxtaposition
have
between
no
young boys
idea,
hanging
dude.
out and
You
then
have no idea the tonal shift that it happens in Warfare. You need to see it. It's
oh, I'm
outright.
sure. Well, okay, yeah, better than
You have
Deer
no
Hunter.
idea.
You have no idea what I've been through. All right, let's hear it, Cam.
Yeah, I mean, aside from what I said just about like the kind of the less is more, I think also I was just I really enjoyed the one soldier's perspective that I love that he was like, no, yeah, it was like it wasn't the sniper bullet through my brain, it was actually you dropping me. And then you're kind of like, oh my gosh, like you can't believe you said that. And then he's like, is that what you're really telling yourself? And it just kind of like made you like it was just a really good point. I felt like to drive home to Miles Teller, like, are you serious, dude? I got shot in the head with like a sniper round, and you're worried about the fact that you dropped me a little. And I just think, and he's like, I'm only here because of you. And so I love that it was kind of um him trying to say like, dude, I get it, you might blame yourself and this and that, but it's just like with the extenuating circumstances, you did everything that you could, and like you were like saving, you were in the act of saving my life, and then you slipped. It's like, how can you blame yourself for that? But and that's what kind of leads into like another thing I liked and didn't like. I hate how much Miles Teller puts everyone's needs above his own. Just I mean it just shows that he is a captain and like taking care of his soldiers, but it's just so sad that it's like because I was like I love you Samoan dude, but I was like, bro, sorry, like he has a family to take care of. I get you just had a kid, but like you got yourself into this difficult situation, like you're not about to throw away like Miles Teller's life just so that you can, I don't know. I was just like stressing the entire time because he's always busy taking care of other people and like never taking enough time to take care of himself. And that was another kind of less is more scene was when the wife finds his book and just reading all the answers. Like
Dude,
that's like
that was the first thing that got me. That's the first tear up I had watching this movie, like hard.
yeah, and that's what I think is so well done is because it show like you don't need to see a super strong outburst from Miles Teller to recognize like oh he's struggling. I love that it's like a scene that he's practically not even on the screen. I love that it keeps showing that and then showing him playing in the dollhouse with her. That kind of reminded me of American Sniper and just showing like how he's trying so hard to cope, but it's like when you think about things that you did back in Iraq, like do you wish you were not alive? And it was like almost always or something like that. It was like the farthest right answer, and you're just like, oh my gosh, and just I think that really drove home the emotion instead of like being super tell and be like, oh yeah, I'm just really depressed and like thinking about killing myself. And even when she confronted him about it, he like didn't really have much to say. He was just like, yeah,
Well, he even said he blew it off like, hey, this is just so I can get my benefits. Like, I have to prove that I'm crazy. Otherwise, I won't get those benefits. That was heartbreaking because he's like, if they don't find me like broken or they don't find me with, oh, sorry. I didn't know if I was interrupting something.
no, you're good.
Sorry. Listen to what I have to say. Cameron's being so distracting on the pod. He's brought his fiance. Does she want to talk about the movie?
She might.
What did you think of this movie?
I
What'd
thought
you
it was
feel?
I thought it was very sad but also very good.
Nothing else.
Hope that
No
helped.
true words, no truer words have been spoken. What a spectacle. Um, brilliant. Just brilliant. Um,
There was one thing too, just really quick one I added that reminded me of A Beautiful Boy, and well, it just hit me, which was the what did they say, like 20, was it a month? How much did they say that kill themselves? Or was he saying a day? Couldn't have been that many that often. And he said he gave a stat of how many people, remember the military officer, he's in his office and he's saying how many people die a day from how many veterans kill themselves.
Oh,
yes,
I
It was
can't
like it
remember.
was
I
like
remember.
can't
20 a
remember the
year or something.
statistic, but yeah, he's
Anyways, it was really
startling
high.
number. Yeah.
And it was just reminding me of the scene in Beautiful Boy when Steve Carell was calling and trying to get information about it, and they found out that like basically only like 2% or something
It was
recovered.
less than 1%.
Less
Yeah.
than
Because
1%.
that's he was like, what is that like? Because a lot of the other things were like, oh, 50%. And then he was like, oh, on some things that are tough, like usually less than 10. And he was like, what's this? And he was like, less than 1%. And he was like,
I know.
oh,
Yeah. That actually recover. I
yeah.
know. And so that was just a stat that kind of hit me like, oh, geez, this is kind of heavy.
Only
Well, and
heavy,
even
huh?
I was going to
Boy.
mention the morbid comedy in this. Like, there's some great moments where the wife, they go to get the
Oh,
benefits, and she's like, I want to come with you. They're driving. Well, you mentioned levity when she's road raging on the road. I thought
that
that
was
was really
pretty good.
funny.
Yeah.
She's like, get out! And she's like
Hey,
driving through the
he's
road.
like,
I'm
you would
like,
have done great in Iraq. We just run people over.
yeah. And then it was great when they sit down with the veteran Department of Veteran Affairs lady. They're talking about it, and she's like, well, I think I need to get a job. He's like, well, they have like some spots at the gun range, or not the gun range, but she's like at the range, and he's like, he's suicidal, and you want to give him a gun or a job at a gun range, and he's like, well, it's technically a tank range,
That's right.
so I can't really shoot myself with a tank. And he's like, he's resourceful. He'll find a way.
We'll find a way. That was pretty good.
Uh, but anyway, just like there is morbid humor, but the fact that the wife is making such an attempt to reach him on his level, and there's actually something interesting. I don't remember where I heard this, so I don't know. I can't really back this up with anything, but I remember hearing not only do you experience trauma and like see horrific things and what you see human beings are capable of, but there's also like a sense that you lose so much camaraderie that you do get from the military. I know that I don't think it's on any same level, but a similar level would be like if you serve like a humanitarian mission with missionaries and stuff. It can be really disheartening when you come back to regular life, you lose a piece of you, and I think that that also only exacerbates things, obviously, because you're in a group of men, young men that have gone through the same horrific stuff, and you're in a way bonded more closely and understand one another more fully. And then you come back to regular day life, and it just kind of feels hollow. You feel like you shouldn't be burden or talk about other things they may not understand, trying to assimilate and get back into regular routine. And I think this movie did a good job at just showing like how everyday life, so tragic. He sees trash on the road and it's like upsetting him because he used to scan for IEDs. So he's looking for bombs under trash. And like it's something we take for granted. You know, we're driving along the freeway with not a care in the world. We know that the freeways are working. There's not going to be any bombs waiting for us, but to have to go through that for survival and then come back to everyday life, it's just impossible to think like with that survival instinct being in play for so long to then just come back and turn that off. Like it's just
Well, and
what?
I feel like that isn't possible because I mean, even
Yeah.
Jordan, when Jordan came back from Argentina, Jordan's like, "You guys don't have bars on your windows?" And I'm like, "It's okay, brother.
That, that
We're in a suburb of Madison, Wisconsin.
that's literally what I
We're
was
gonna
gonna
be
ask.
okay."
Was there an adjustment for you at all, Ty, coming home from Chile? Because like I was just so worried about somebody breaking into our home, just kind of adjusting back to real
Um,
life.
I don't know. There was definitely an adjustment going out to a third world country. I bet Cameron can attest to this. We've all served humanitarian missions. And I want to just clarify earlier, I don't know if I made it clear that not that I think serving a humanitarian mission puts you on the same par of obviously serving the country
No.
militarily, but I was just mentioning like in a world where you grow so bonded with everyone you're with, and then coming out of that would be
Well, it's also
difficult.
similar to like
But
any sports team or even like
yeah, you're part of a
having like a
team, like
bad job that you work at, and then
yes.
like you just
Yeah.
naturally bond with those people. If you have a really bad boss, like all of you are naturally more bonded together because like remember that boss and all the dumb things he used to make us do? He was literally the worst.
No, that's so funny you say that, Cameron, because all my
Or
cells,
even childhood.
all my cells, what do you call them? The people you work with, sales team. We all bonded because there was one guy that was the worst, and so it's like you just like trauma bond.
A hundred
I never
percent.
had that. I must have been the guy that was the worst. No one ever came to me. No, I totally get what you're saying. People, yeah, common enemy, right? But you again did not give enough credit to the levity. There was plenty of levity. I wrote some of them down here. Like the guy that was one of my favorite. He's like, "Hey, what can I do you for?" He sits him down. He goes, he's like, "Well, I got this thing. Like, I need to get my friend some benefits or whatever." And he's like, "I can order 20 pounds of beef." And it'll be here in 24 hours. He's like, terrorists can't do that. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. I actually laughed out loud. And then he's like, hey, that is just wrong. That is as wrong as two boys effing in church. And I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but it was just like such a redneck thing that he was saying. But dead gum.
Well, and see that there was a few, but I feel like there's just a few. They
There was a few. I'm sorry they
not
weren't
enough.
laughing when he was shot in the head, Jordan. Jordan's like,
Oh my
someone gonna crack
gosh.
a Marvel joke here? We could use some levity. This movie's too serious, am I right?
No, 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 no.
No, no, I would throw out the what was it Jordan, so it's funny. There was even things that were so that enraged me that were like very less is more. There's this horrific scene where they're at the Veterans Office of Veteran Department of Affairs to get some benefits or whatever, and this general comes in and he's like, "Oh, you were Lieutenant Infantryman or whatever, Captain." He's like, "It's bad for morale. Don't come in here begging for benefits. Like." All the other veterans are going to see you and it's totally bringing down morale. And I'm like, this freaking
Uh,
pencil pusher just telling this veteran, hey, suck it up and get out of here. Like, what are you doing coming back here? It's bad for morale. It's like, screw you, man. Like, that was so
Seriously.
annoying to me. That was
and
a,
that actor is in Dawn of the Dead, by the way, if I can point at it.
does he get torn apart
It's
by
opposite.
zombies?
Uh, well, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah.
I hope he does. He gets torn apart. Anyway, that made me furious because
Oh yeah.
how many times did we run into that person that just doesn't know what they're talking about and doesn't understand the situation?
Oh yeah. I
And he's
mean,
like,
basically
and
every
he's ta Yeah, when he's talking
Like,
to his boy, AT, he's like, like that guy didn't fight the war. The guy was like fought a war with a pencil and a
On a
computer, right?
computer.
Like
on a computer,
Yeah.
yeah.
anyway,
Well,
yeah, that
like so
was
many people today, just we sit in America, but in the safety behind our phones. It's just, I mean,
I
I
bet
not
people would experience trauma if they just watched like a cow giving birth to a few calves. Like seriously, like people be triggered by the most insane things now. Like,
well, and I mean, I'm not. I know Ty keeps saying this is nothing like actually being in the military zone and suffering PTSD, but like on a small scale, like working for pest control, there was a guy who wore a short sleeve shirt and he was knocking down spider webs, and a spider went down his back and it bit him. And it was one of the brown recluses. And so it like now he has this giant scar all over his back because their bites actually eat away and deteriorate like through bone, through everything. And
yikes,
so like after I saw that, like seriously, at random times of night, I'll like wake up in a panic and like throw the sheets off just to make sure there's not a brown recluse in my bed because that like
bro! I had the
I
same effect when you showed me that stupid arachnophobia movie with Jeff Daniels. I could not sleep that night, just feeling a little tickle on my leg. I'd be like, "Gah!"
but what I'm saying is like
Spider.
imagine that feeling but then amplify it, and it's just like, and that's why I just feel so bad for these guys because seriously
Sorry.
like
You're doing a great job,
I'm
Jordan. So
waking
I
up
don't
in the
mind how
middle
it's
of the
funny.
night over a
It's like
stupid
a million
spider.
recluse spiders. And then you know what it's like to be in war.
Times 100.
Exactly.
And
No,
it is so interesting though, even what you just said, Jordan. I think it just proves like what any sort of situation like this you see in the movie, and then even like right now after while we're talking about it, like humans have such a need to relate to each other. I think
Mm,
that was so interesting. Like we're all trying to be like, well, in my own way, like this is like in a way that's completely different, but it's also just kind of true with life. Like there's so many different trials and things that everyone goes through and so many different like struggles that we all experience, but at the end of the day, we all want to relate to each other. I think that's what's cool is that the main guy's wife, right after he gets home, she's like, "You can tell me I'm tougher than you, like and she's not tougher than him, but like she wants him to not be alone and she wants to be able to relate to him in whatever way. Like, and I think that's what was cool too in watching it is all of those men are also trying to relate to each other, even though they just came from the exact same experience. Like, they all still have their own traumas and they all still have their own ailments, and so they can't even fully relate to each other. So it really is just like this whole thing of like even when you have experienced it, you won't always know exactly what it's like either. I loved that part too when they're like, well, would you rather have your leg off, and the guy's like, below the knee or above the knee? And it's
hmm.
like it's things like that though where you really just don't know unless that's what happened to you, and you always want something different, but you also just want to understand and relate in some way. I think that's such a human experience.
Well, and I think it's so interesting of like the difficulty of serving in the army and there being no physical signs. I think that's like one of the hardest things is because that's kind of what they touched on. He's like, at least people know you're a hero or stuff like that. Or like that way, I think that's so hard that like the Samoan guy was struggling with was the fact that all of his issues were internal. And so it's like it's so hard to say, hey, my brain's scrambled and I can't remember straight sometimes, and sometimes I freak out. Like that, like versus saying like, oh, I don't have my right arm because it was blown off by IED. It's like that's super visible and also easier to talk about versus having something like a mental disorder or like
mm.
PTSD from that. I feel like is harder to talk about because then you have to be vulnerable and talk to somebody about it, and then it's kind of like scary because I mean you saw like when he freaked out just because of like the burning smell and you just thought of like the dude's burning skin and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's understandable reason to freak out
And
and
can
start
we just
smashing
agree that
everything.
veterans should not be playing Call of Duty? I don't know if that was what he
Yeah.
was playing, but like, come on, dude. Like, you're asking for it at that point. Like, play some Minecraft or something. Chill the freak out.
Yeah.
You don't need to be shooting people.
They probably shouldn't be going out in the middle of the night to go shoot who knows what in the woods either.
Yeah,
That
that
scene
was
was giving
insane.
me so much stress that he
I
was going
actually
to
thought
shoot
we
the
were gonna
other
get a
guy.
Caliber movie here the first time I watched it,
Oh yeah, I
but
literally
not
thought of that
knowing
too. I thought he was
I'd
gonna
seen
accidentally
American
shoot
Sniper, I
somebody.
Yeah.
think, and then I
Yeah,
watched this movie and I was like, oh no,
yeah,
like he's gonna have to like. But I was like, it's primarily a drama, but I almost feel like this movie very almost quickly became Caliber or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that would have been terrifying.
yeah. And
But oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
no, I was just gonna say they did such a good job at making you feel
Thank
like
you.
you
Make
feel
me feel.
the main character Miles Teller when dropped the baby, just that feeling of like yes, run away because you're just gonna destroy this
Yeah,
family,
you're
you
a
know?
More
nuisance.
than you're helping. You're hurting
Yeah.
more than you're helping.
He dropped his fellow soldier. He dropped the baby. Comes full circle, you know. So it's
Oh
a
my
just dropping
gosh.
everybody. It's good. No, but I
And
mean, that was the whole point. It was the catalyst because he's like, "Why are you reaching out to me now?" And he's like, "Well, at home, I thought that was a sweet, vulnerable moment where he admits another fault that he blames himself for, and it's like, yeah, you fell asleep, you made a mistake.
it,
Um, baby rolled
and
off
I'm
of
gonna
your
compare it
shoulder."
to this movie that Ty for some reason doesn't like. Forrest Gump, when the guy is in the wheelchair, with no legs, and he saved him, and he finally thanks him for it. Because before, when he was in the war, he was like, "Why'd you save me? You should have let me die." And then he like pulls him out, and just like this guy, you know, he's beating himself up. So I thought that was like so great. Like I said, it was so short, so I was like, I want more of this. Like this movie felt like a really long therapy session, and maybe that's why I wasn't crazy about it. Because therapy, obviously, in the end, it's like, oh, you've gotten through all this hard stuff, but getting through it is the hard thing. It's just,
I one thing I think this movie did really well too was just showing even like, and Allie, you brought this up with like wanting to relate. There's moments where when the crew gets back, right? Billy Waller, or played by Joe Cole, he's the veteran that takes his life in front of his ex-girlfriend at the bank. It's so tragic because when he goes home, he gets back like all the other soldiers are being welcomed by family and loved ones. Of course, that moment is ruined by Amy Schumer, so it's not the first thing that she's ruined since she tried to stand up comedy. But she like ruins Miles Teller's coming home. She's like, where's my husband? What was he doing exactly? And it's like,
How
shut
did
up,
he
lady.
die? I'm like, that's the first thing he wants to say, but
Yeah, that's not the
Greg
first thing I
Jesus
want to talk about. It's
Christ.
like, where is he? What was he doing? It's like, I don't want to think about it. Thanks. I'm here with my family. I just want to enjoy today. Anyway, but then like he goes home to a house that's completely unfurnished. So no one was there to greet him. And then he goes home. There's his girlfriend's gone. His furniture's missing. It's not like she took her bags. It's like nothing's there. The power doesn't come on. He just sleeps on the floor, wakes up the next day. He's basically homeless. He's got, he doesn't know where his girl is. And then he gets to go back to Miles Teller, see his family life. And even though they're joking, there's that sweet moment where he like brings him back to his place, and the next morning he's like, all he had to do was just stay there. Like, why did he get up? And you're right, they were trying to relate to each other, right? Like, why did he do that? Like, everything would have been just fine if we had just talked about it or something, right? And then it's so infuriating because Miles Teller literally takes the same arc, and his journey slowly gets there where he ends up with the gun,
Well, and I love
pressed
I
to
love
his
the
temple
question he
or his
asks.
chin.
He says, "Where do I go?" And she's like, "You need to leave." And he goes like, "Where do I go?" Because he's
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
like,
just like, what's my purpose? Like, you're the only reason like I was wanting to come home and
hmm
like to not die out there. And it's like, and then now that reason like doesn't want you anymore. It's like, what am I doing?
yeah.
And
And
how
and
powerful too that the guys are like he got blown up 7 times and this is what killed him was his own self. Like that's what's so sad about that too.
yeah, tougher than nails, right? Yeah, he's got blown up so many times. He's like, man, that's not normal. Like, who gets blown up 7 times? None of us are normal. And one thing I think this movie did also was like, I think I've seen it like, yeah, the husband and wife relationship will be strained. This was so tragic. Like even in moments of intimacy between him and his wife, he sees the most horrific visions of the war and violence, and I just think that's really sad. Where even like something like intimacy is like interrupted by PTSD, and I don't think I've seen a war movie that's done something like that. So anyway, it's so tragic. And to think, like you said, Allie, they're just trying to have a connection. And it's like, even things that were very special to this couple, those things are all ruined. It just ruins everything, you know? So, war is bad. Can we just stop with the war already? Jeez. Can we just get along? Sorry, we're just asking the
Well,
big,
and we
hard-hitting
quoted
questions here on
you
the
last
podcast.
time, I believe, on the pod. Maybe if we didn't, then I'm gonna quote you now. But Ali said after we watched Warfare, and she's like, "It really makes you wonder, like, what's the point
Yeah,
when it
What
comes
are
to
they even
war?"
doing there?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
what mission is he even on when he's watching all of his best friends die in front of him and everything's bad and evil and horrible?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
What even is the point?
pretty heartbreaking to discover it's all just either for greed or for, yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
I know.
bummer
Yeah,
If
or
scene.
if
for the greater good. It's
oh,
like, okay,
the greater
okay.
good. Uh,
Let's just drone the crap out of some Arabs, dude.
or
For what purpose? Yeah,
or
so sad.
the king, where it's all for just what was it, some land or something?
Yeah, just for personal interest. Yeah, personal gain. Jordan's like, I don't want to spoil anything. Well, that was a big
Nobody's
spoiler.
gonna know
Well,
except the people who saw it.
but anyway, but
But
yeah, do you
would
guys
we
have anything else
recommend?
you want to throw out about the movie?
No.
I'm really grateful for the veterans. Thank you, veterans, for all your
Oh,
service for
wait,
this
Ty, you
country.
said you wanted to share one story because you met with the veteran or something when you were selling. Do you remember that story?
I wanted to share a story about a veteran.
Well, anyways, the reason you originally wanted to do the episode, you're like, I have a really good veteran story because Ty sells to old people insurance. Yeah.
And some
I'm
of them
quoting
happen to be
Hot Tub Time
veterans.
Machine. You're practically the devil.
I,
Anyways,
I
you said
can't
you had a
remember if
story. You
I
can't
see
remember. All
this
right.
is really
Well, this is
disheartening
why we should
because
have done it way back when you told me to. Sorry.
I know I'm like I probably have the craziest veteran story. Well, I have one off the top of my head, but he was a piece of garbage, so not all veterans are good people. He told me about all these crimes he committed while he was over in Germany, and I was like, dang. He's like, yeah, we buried this guy that was abusing women. We just buried him beneath the catacombs, and I was like, you just admitted to a crime to me, and he's like, yeah. He's like, but don't tell anyone. And I was like, holy crap.
That's out of the bag.
I know, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you're a bad veteran.
Well,
Like,
isn't it past the, because isn't there like after a certain amount of years, it's like
I
statute
not
think
of
it's like a 30-year stipulation.
okay.
stipulate, is it law of statute of limitations? Your wife's a
Statute of
lawyer, Jordan.
limitation.
Isn't that what it's
Yeah.
called?
Oh, yeah, I could ask her, but
But I won't because of
But
the
but
litigation.
but would we
We're just
recommend?
throwing out words.
I definitely, if you like war movies, especially ones that are like more focused on like the effects of war, absolutely. Like if you
mm,
liked American Sniper, you'll like this.
mm.
Yeah, and there's way more real babies in this than than American
An
Sniper.
American Sniper, that's true.
I feel like I would recommend it, but also there's one other thing I wanted to say about the movie.
Yes,
I'm not
please.
sure if you guys said this already, but I think my favorite part of the movie is honestly the end. Cam, of course, says that he doesn't love that the main guy puts other people in front of him and stuff, which I do think like it's important to think about like at what point are you saving someone else and then losing yourself?
This is coming from a people pleaser, so whatever she says is probably false.
There's some truth to what I say. Okay, there's some truth. Anyways, um, but I just think that like it was cool watching Miles Teller in this movie because you almost see that like he goes through trying to help all these other people and ends up helping himself along the way in a way harder way though. Like he takes the longer road to getting help for himself while helping other people take the easier road. And I think that's also just reassuring though for the other people who feel like they have no other option but to like save everyone else. Like there's still saving like available for you too, even if it looks different than like that first option or the easy way out or whatever you end up giving to other people. And I think also, I love that it ended with him talking and like having to face all these things that like he can't talk to anybody about the entire movie. Like it's something he turns away over and over and over again. And I love that that's like what kickstarts, I feel like, his healing towards the end is him actually being able to talk about that. I feel like so much of our healing in life comes from actually just going back to the root of the hurt, which sucks, but is how we have to do it sometimes. So,
I,
yeah, I
I
would
love that.
recommend.
Famous fantasy author Brandon Sanderson, a lot of his characters and themes of his books are you're not the sum of your destinations, you're the sum of your journeys, right? Like, oh, like I am a returned war veteran. It's like, yeah, you could come back with this honor, right? Like the other guy, he's like had all the silver medals and whatnot, but he worked behind a computer while the captain, Miles Teller, and his boys, they were out there fending for their lives every day. Whereas the other guy was pushing pencils and doing a job. They were like struggling to survive. Um, it is crazy to think that, like you said, it's not necessarily, oh, I fought or I was military, but that can mean such a different thing for someone that was on the streets, faced with the possibility of not returning home that day with somebody else that was just working like an office job, you know? And again, I understand that there's all roles and responsibilities that need to be fulfilled, but it is, yeah, it's very interesting to see that that journey that he goes through, it is a harder path. I think that's really interesting, but it's great that we know that about his character and finally being able to reach out and for help. And it reminded me of 127 hours in that regard. The whole climax of the movie, you think, is like him being Aaron Ralsted being trapped in a canyon with his hands stuck between a rock and a canyon wall and not being able to free himself. But it's actually the climax of the movie, the pivotal character moment. He has to decide to reach out for help. And it's very hard for him to do. He's a very much an independent loner. And when he has to scream for help and ask for help for other people, that's his character transformation. That's like the moment where he learns to be willing to ask for help. And I think that this is the same arc that James Franco went through, playing Aaron Alsted in 127 hours. So I thought that was interesting. So
Would you recommend?
I do recommend this movie. Thank you for your service. Absolutely. Cameron's like, enough with the metaphorical gobbledygook. Just let's
What
get to
about
the
you,
movies that you've been
Jordan?
watching lately. All right, Cameron. Hey, let's hear
Yeah, what
from
have you
you
seen
guys.
lately?
You and
I don't
Allie, what are
know.
you guys watching?
Jordan, you have to say what
I
you.
don't know. It's what Cameron said. It's just it's a heavy movie, so I can't decide.
Wait, what? Well, tell us. Wait, what?
I don't know. What have you seen lately, Cameron? Oh, and in case people don't know and why we have such a like a well-spoken person, because I can't speak, but we have Allie. She actually runs her own podcast, and I'd love you to plug it.
You'd love me to plug it. It's
Yeah,
called How Can It Be? And it's a podcast about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
thank
You
you.
might get one additional follower
Our
out
sister.
of all three of ours that listen to ours. One may start following you. So
Wondiferous. I
Uh,
can't even wait. I'll
I
And
think, Jordan, we should be begging to be announced on her
I know.
podcast.
I do need to ask though, are you gonna let Cameron hang up
we're
all
gonna have to
his
start censoring your guys' podcasts more, and then I can plug you guys, okay?
I did, but then I stopped because I gave it over to Cameron and Ty. They just can't.
Oh yeah, Allie, you should talk to that filthy mouth husband, or excuse me, fiance of yours. He's the problem.
You know
It's
what
it's
I've
his
learned?
problem.
I've learned that he can't be tamed. So
That is true.
it's best to just love him as he is, don't you
Yeah.
think? And
Uh,
there's sweetness in
Wait,
here.
wait, wait, Allie, are you saying that you're
somewhere
gonna
in there.
take the destination that's easier, the easier path? You need to go through the hard stuff. Break him. He's a
Oh,
wild
oh,
stallion.
I've gone
Break him.
through
Bring
it.
him to his
I've gone
knees.
through it already, and that's how I've landed at my destination of
And I think I've already
keeping
asked you
it how
this,
it is.
but are you gonna let him hang up his albums on the wall?
I'm gonna let him have some. But here's the thing. One day when we are in Ty's position and we have our own freshly redone basement, all of them can live easy peasy in there.
And did I
Uh,
tell you, or did Cameron tell you that I put a bunch of post-it notes on one of them one day, and he was so
On the
upset.
Doja Cat one.
Oh yeah, because it's nudity, so no worries. It's just no worries at all about that, you know. That's for the best. I want you to know the post-it notes are no longer there. So the
All
nudes are back up.
right, Cameron,
Anyways, what
hit
I've
your
seen
list.
lately, um, uh, I watched. Hold on, not by release date. Um, I watched A Man Called Otto, with Jordan. We watched the American version, and Jordan hated it more than life itself. But I thought it was fine.
Is there a foreign version I need to
Yes,
post?
A
Yeah.
Man Called Ove. Highly recommend.
A man
Um,
called O.
Ove.
and it was like very cookie cutter of what like I don't know that
That's why I thought you would like it. You like these, like,
I
dude,
do not
Pursuit of
like
Happiness, Green
not when
Book,
it's cookie
Cookie
cutter.
Cutter.
Oh my gosh, no.
Pursuit of Happiness is not cookie cutter.
Yeah, you
Even Ty agrees with me. It's Green Book. Is that not the cookie cutter of all cookies?
Yeah,
Ty's not even seen it, so his
I
opinion
won't
on this
watch. Yeah,
is
I
so
won't watch
invalid.
it
Oh,
because I'm like, yeah, I don't care to watch
because you know it's a
fake
cookie
story.
cutter. That's why
No,
you
Um,
won't watch
I
it.
know it. The story is not what how it happened. That's what I heard. So I'm
Oh,
like, why do I care to have my moral betters, Hollywood
every.
actors who
Oh my
eat
gosh.
babies, tell me who tell me I need to be a better person and
anyways, so then I thought A Man Called Otto was fine. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I thought it would be right up your alley. I'm surprised, Cameron. That's all I'm saying.
And then I also watched I think I talked about Warfare on the last podcast, right? So that I watched The Machinist. It was
oh
very
my
fitting. I
gosh.
watched it at like I started it.
Machinist and a thank you for your service, like back to back double feature has
Well,
to be like the most
I
bleak thing ever.
I watched it at 1 a.m. and I was like, what better time to watch a movie about sleep deprivation than at 1 a.m.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and which is actually funny because first time I tried to start it, I was watching it with my roommate, with Colton, and then Colton fell asleep like 11 minutes in. I said, we can just watch this a different time.
Is the fact that Christian Bale lost that much weight for a movie that nobody saw the most impressive thing, or is it
Uh,
that he beefs up so much for Batman? I can't tell. I can't tell what's more
yeah,
impressive.
the it honestly reminds me a lot of Enemy. It was one of those movies that throughout I was like, this movie's kind of dumb and I don't really like it. And then the moment it finished, I was like, okay, that was actually pretty good.
Well, and it's sad because then another film that not a lot of people saw was Vice, and he gained a ton of weight. He was huge.
Yeah.
Well, no, he like, I mean, just go back. He was like, he did Machinist, then he did Batman, then he did the other
Well,
Batman, and
he
then he
went
went to
from
the
Batman
Fighter,
to
and
the
then he's
Machinist
Batman
to the
again. You're like,
Batman and then to what's it called, Vice, and
Nice.
then to what's it called, the Fighter.
maybe he's like me. He like intermittent fast and then lose a bunch of weight, and then he's just
Well,
like,
no, you want to know what you want to know what his diet was for the Machinist? An apple and cigarettes every day.
his diet included cigarettes.
Yeah, I was like,
It makes you less hungry, from what I've been
No, no,
told.
I get it, but for some reason, I don't know. I was thinking about him eating the cigarettes. I think
but yeah,
he ate an apple a day, and he
so
picked up
yeah,
the habit of
the
smoking as he
Machinist
was
was
a.
mind-boggling and not as good as ones like Enemy, and it honestly kind of reminded me of what's the Denis Villeneuve fish one, Jordan? That's and Fish
Oh,
Enemy.
Maelstrom.
Yeah, Maelstrom. It was kind of that vibe. I liked it a little bit better than Maelstrom, so I gave it 8 out of 10. I watched Under the Silver Lake with Andrew Garfield. I was super excited because I love Andrew Garfield, and it was A24, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good. First off, there's so much nudity in the first 20 minutes. I was like, what is going on? And there's just some grandma with her titties out. I was like, what is happening? And and I tried to get through it. And then me and my roommate Zach stopped, and we were just like, okay, we were 45 minutes in and nothing had happened. I was like, should we and then we finished the trailer to see if there was like anything that looked interesting, the rest of the trailer, and we were just like, let's just not finish it. So then we watched The Rental, which was actually really fun. Um, it's just about this Airbnb, and it's got it's got your one of your favorite actors, Jordan. It's got the guy from Dan Stevens. He's
The
from
Bear?
The
Oh,
Guest.
the You're
Oh,
Next or not? Yeah, the
The
well, it has
guest.
the
Guest.
guy from The Bear as well, right?
Yeah, Jeremy Allen
I saw a
White.
poster.
Um, yeah, and I thought it was really enjoyable. It's kind of a fun thing where it's like they go to this rental house and um, or like a kind of an Airbnb, and then like kind of weird things start to happen, and there's just like a lot of suspicious, weird like vibes. So, and I really enjoyed it. Um, and then I went back and tried to finish Under the Silver Lake and just couldn't. So I just skipped to the end and then watched some explainer videos. And I was like, wow, I'm glad I didn't sit through the last hour 15 of that movie. Um, and then I watched 5 centimeters per second because Jordan said that it was depressing and that I would like it. And sure enough, it was depressing and I liked it. And I would give it a 9 out of 10. And added it to my top 200. So, well, good
What's
recommendation,
that
Jordan.
one? What's that about?
It's the same person who did Your Name. It's literally Korean or Japanese.
It's anime.
It's Japanese past lives.
Was that the one? Yeah, was that the one with the girl that was misremembering her life or her fandom? She has a fan or whatever.
No, that's Perfect
That's
Blue.
Perfect Blue.
Sorry. Okay.
No, yeah. So this
Yeah.
this is essentially Japanese version of Past Lives, where it's just these two kids. It's just like a short. It's a short film. It's like an hour and 5 minutes. But it's like 3 episodes combined into one movie. But it was really good and depressing. And then I watched Mystic River. I don't know. Like,
Dude, you I think you just named all the sad movies, all 10 of them that
yeah.
exist. Like you are missing The Road. If you haven't seen The Road,
No.
oh,
I
okay.
don't know that I ever want to watch that, but
Bro, it is the least watchable, no, excuse me, the least rewatchable movie of all time.
yeah.
I would say that the
I don't know.
Oh,
Black
it's
Swan.
it's
Black
it's up.
Swan might be up there. It's I think for me it's like Black Swan, the movie Jordan made me watch with Jared
nah,
Leto,
Black Swan, even
Yeah,
Requiem for a
that.
Requiem for
Dream.
a Dream.
You could rewatch that
That
awful movie. Requiem for a Dream.
okay.
It's
The,
Requiem
the
the
Road,
three
Cameron.
movies.
I'd say it's pretty close to Grave of Fireflies, if you want a comparison.
I've rewatched Grave of Fireflies twice. I love that movie.
I'll never rewatch. That's the most depressing movie
That
I've ever
movie
seen in
is
my life.
beautiful and perfect.
No, The
Um,
Road,
I
Cameron.
think
Yeah.
the fact that it's animated makes it a little lighter for me. Like it makes it like a little bit more enjoyable on rewatch versus watching like a Manchester. I've seen Manchester like 4 or 5 times, but those ones just because they're
Dude,
real people, it
we
feels
need to
heavier.
create a list. I mean, we're already there. We got the five, I think.
Um,
Manchester. You got to
but
throw in
then
like a Holocaust, maybe Les or not Les Mis. What's
But
it
yeah,
called?
but Mystic River,
Schindler's
I
List.
Schindler's
like
List.
I
Yeah,
liked elements of it. I don't know. I just felt like it was like a worse Prisoners. I just felt like there was almost too much going on at the same time. Um, like I was just kind of like, oh, like is this ever going to pan out? Is this going to pan out? And I felt like the end was unsatisfactory. I just kind of like because I don't know. I just it felt unfulfilling at the end. But I mean, good performances all around.
That's so
Um,
crazy because that twist is so wild.
and then we watched The Gift last night with Joel Edgerton, and he actually wrote and directed it, and it was so intense, don't you think?
Yeah.
I haven't like I rarely like jump, especially like scream. I did twice in that movie. The suspense is
Best
outrageous.
two jump scares in the literal whole entire movie. Best jump scares maybe ever.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a movie about Joel Edgerton. He is a friend of what's his name?
Is it Jason
Uh
Bateman?
yeah, Jason Bateman. So Jason Bateman and his wife moved back to where he's from, like in California, and then he runs into this guy, Joel Edgerton, at a store who recognizes him. He's like, "Hey, aren't you? What's it called? We went to school together." He's like, "Oh yeah," and then he's like,
You
"Oh, he's
used to
moved to
bully me.
and then he reached out or he drops off a gift at their house and then it just saying like well
their house address
when
inside of the store.
yeah and then he just keeps dropping by and keeps giving gifts and then just like he essentially is kind of like almost stalkerish vibes and it's crazy and twisted. Jordan, it reminded me of Old Boy.
Yeah, it has
Yeah,
a
this definitely
twist
has
at
a
the
dark
end with yeah,
end
it's kind of
Oh wait,
twist.
old
have
boy
you
vibe.
seen it?
I was gonna say
We've
it
both
kind of
seen it,
is
yeah.
it's
Oh,
like that James McAvoy movie. What was it called? The
oh, Speak No Evil.
Yeah, Speak No Evil and the foreign
Dude,
version of it
yeah,
too.
just
It's right in that category of
the
movie
fact that
where
he freaking maybe is the father is just
okay,
crazy.
major spoilers. There's the gift.
And then
Gift of life.
the last thing I watched, well, I watched some like episodes of.
Oh, by the way, real quick, Cameron, can we just agree that Jason Bateman is starting to be typecast as a guy that cannot produce offspring? He's like both in I'm already thinking of Game Night
Brutal.
and now The
That
Gift.
is a
Oh
brutal
yeah,
And then there
character.
has to be a
that's
third.
actually really true.
And isn't Extract, doesn't he have problems with infertility or something like that
Well,
too?
no, his wife just always puts on the sweatpants, and so he can
So he
never.
doesn't, okay. But
That movie
I'm
is
gonna
not good.
count that as a
No,
pass. So
dude,
Jason Bateman is
no,
quickly becoming
the one
the
quote I
least
remember, I've like remembered
fertile
since
man,
watching Game Night
fertile man.
was the dude who's like, "Put your hands up," and and Rachel McAdams like, "Please, I have a kid." He's like, "Not with an ass like that." She's like, "Oh, thank you." For some reason, that's like the only line I can remember from that movie. Um,
Yes,
Game Night's good. It's
Of
funny.
course, it's the
Adam's
only line.
ass. That's why. You're just
potentially,
thinking
Yeah,
Rachel McAdams'
Yeah,
ass, and
Cameron,
that's the
could
only
you
reason why you can remember
let's
it.
keep it PG, all
potentially.
right?
And then
yeah, we all know why you remember that line because Cameron's
um,
like, it's so true.
and then I've almost completed the Jake collection. I
I
just watched
noticed that.
October Sky last night. It was pretty good. It's just so not my genre or vibe. I just don't really enjoy space movies. That's why to me Interstellar is so
Oh,
amazing.
I
Because
thought
like,
you would like dig it because it's like another one of those uplifting emotional
He hates
movies that you
you're
yeah.
love.
so funny.
Cookie cutter,
I
happy
like
by the book
one in
movies,
10 of
Jordan.
those, and Jordan's like, you love that genre.
You do.
Um,
You love it, don't you? Yeah, you do, you little pig.
And then,
Straight up
yeah,
piggy.
October Sky was good. I think Jake Gyllenhaal's performance was good. I just like, I don't know. Maybe I also need to rewatch. Like, I fell asleep watching Apollo 13, and they showed that in school, and I still fell asleep. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of the space movies like that. I just find very
Tim,
boring.
you
Same with
enjoy
Ad
Interstellar
Astra.
though, don't you?
Yeah, that's why I'm
He
saying
said,
the
Dude, I
why
got
Ad
another one
Astra.
that'll keep you awake. You won't be able to fall asleep.
Good.
It's freaking Event Horizon.
I
Space
watched that with
sci-fi
Cameron.
movie. You will
Cam-
not be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Cameron was laughing hysterically at the end with the black guy.
That movie is outrageous.
The movie's crazy, dude.
I love that movie.
But yeah, and that's all I've seen this week, which I know sounds like a billion, but
It was a billion. I can't
and then
believe we're still here.
I'm looking forward to. I want to watch We Live in a Time, which is also very depressing. Um, it's the one about it's Andrew Garfield and what's her name?
Florence
Florence
Pugh.
Pugh, and yeah, she has cancer. Um, Spoiler, but I mean that's in like every single trailer. And then I've been meaning to watch
I like how
Primer.
you're giving spoiler warnings for movies you haven't
After.
seen. I
Oh, and for
know.
movies, yeah.
He's
Um,
like, she has cancer. I know this because I watched the trailer. I don't know why you find that so funny. You're like, "Oh, spoiler alert. I saw it in the teaser."
but
Yeah.
and then I also want to watch Primer just because Jordan always tells me it's like the most realistic time travel movie, and I love
That's
time
just what I've
travel.
read. I haven't
And
finished
Which
it.
every
one?
like
Timer?
Primer.
Primer.
Timer.
It has very mixed reviews, but then like there's so many times I'll be watching a video of like a person saying, "Oh, these are some of my favorite like mind mush movies," and then like so many times people will include Primer, so I'm like, I think I need to watch it, but it's super low budget, which I'm a little worried about. But I mean, hey, if it's anything like what's our
Coherence.
Coherence,
yeah,
dude.
coherence. Exactly. So that's I'm like sometimes with the small budget they just create a banger. So I honestly just need to sit down and just finish it off. But I only have five. I forgot to also mention that I have five left of Jake Gyllenhaal's movies, and it's all of his worst movies, and I am gonna cry just looking at the watch list. It's Midnight Mile, Highway, The Good Girl, Lovely and Amazing, and then Bubble Boy.
Yeah, I don't know where you're gonna get your hands on The Good Girl because I couldn't find it streaming anywhere, so you'll have
No,
to
I love the idea
good
that
luck.
even Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't want you to watch these movies of his. In fact, he wants
Dude,
the world to
Bubble
forget they
Boy,
exist. And
$500.
Cameron's gonna come
I'm
on the
excited for
podcast
you
and
to
just
watch that
blow
one.
up Jake Gyllenhaal. What a stupid actor he was. You see this movie?
Oh wait, Cameron, are you gonna watch? I just recently watched Knock Knock, and I forgot Anna de Armas is in it. Are you gonna watch it?
No, well, see, I saw that recommended to me one time, and then I asked you about it, and you're like, "This is you're like, Nick loves this movie just because of Ana de Armas or whatever."
Yeah,
And
Is Knock Knock the one where the two girls come to Keanu Reeves's house?
yeah,
yeah.
Like regular Tuesday night for Keanu Reeves,
dude,
I think is it also was called.
it's like a 4.9 on IMDb. I'm like, what is in this movie to be that atrocious?
It's bad, but yeah, Anna de
Is it
Armas
so
is in
bad
it.
it's good, or is it just bad?
There's definitely parts in it that had me laughing pretty hard, especially the end. But
Because that's
I
what
don't
I was
know.
kind of looking at it, and I was like, it kind of gave off a little bit of like almost Final Destination vibes, where it's like so
It,
cheesy over the
it's
top.
it's almost there, but not quite. Because I do love Eli Roth's other movies, but this one doesn't quite because it doesn't
Okay,
have all his violence, which is what I love.
okay.
Good stuff, Cameron. I am so impressed between this week and last week. You were able to watch that. Like we did a movie catch up, and I'd say in 1 week's time, your movie catch up was almost just as long as it was for the last 6 months that we've been off the pod.
Yeah.
And it's been 1 week's time. So good on you, Cameron. Keep watching movies, man. Don't ever stop. Allie, did you have you seen anything lately or
Um, I watched part of a movie that's a classic in my head, which is called Monte Carlo, starring Selena Gomez.
Never
Monte
heard of it.
That's
Carlo?
on Cam's watch list sooner than ever. He can't wait to see.
Is it really on his watch list?
Oh, don't worry. I've created a watch list for him. Movies like High School Musical
Yeah.
and Barbie, and
Barbie.
Cameron's seen
haven't
Barbie.
seen
He
all of
likes
the Barbies.
The animated Barbies.
Okay, and I'm gonna sit here and keep watching Avatar with you, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, because Avatar's a masterpiece.
Are you
And
talking
so is
about the
Barbie Princess and
show?
the
the
Pauper.
cartoon.
Thank you so
Are you
much.
talking about the show Avatar,
The
or are you
cartoon
talking
Avatar.
like
No, not Blue People Avatar or not M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar garbage.
And not the Netflix remake, the cartoon original.
Yeah, there's so many garbage
so
There's so many-
so
avatars, and
out
then
of
there's
like the
one
eight
good one.
awful avatars, there is one that's decent.
And that's the truth about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched part of that, and then my family is we're just big show watchers, so I watched a ton of episodes of SWAT
Yeah,
with my
their
mother.
family loves a cheesy like cop. Like,
I don't think it's so cheesy. Okay. It is kind of cheesy though. It's that one guy who's that bald guy.
oh, that bald guy.
No, he's in like every
Oh,
single
that
thing.
one.
He's in Criminal Minds, which also that's on our watch list for Cam. How has he not watched that yet?
I am
Talk
surprised
about
it
it.
seems.
Have
I
you guys
mean,
seen Criminal Minds?
mhm. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
I've only
that's
watched a
the
couple episodes. I
episodic
haven't.
one. Yeah, my
You guys
wife
need
watches
to
that.
embed
I've seen a few
yourself in it more.
episodes.
It's fantastic.
No, see, Mindhunters
It's
is better because it's more traumatic and darker.
You
it's not
Yeah,
haven't
as
actually
you
it's
seen
haven't
not
it.
as
seen
good
True
as Dexter.
Detective, Cameron. You call yourself
Oh,
a
True
fan
Detective.
of.
I showed him a few scenes from it. I kind of
Jordan was
spoiled
the
it.
one that scared me off of it. He was like, "Do not watch this. You just need to watch these few scenes and
It
then
is
watch the
that
rest of
first
it."
season is a perfect TV. It is mature for sure,
It's
but
amazing.
it is.
True
Have you seen
Detective?
it, Allie?
Oh no, I thought we were still talking about my show, but no.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh,
But
Allie.
I'm sure it is amazing, Ty. Seriously, I'll just give you this mic.
Yeah, give me the benefit of the doubt. It's yeah, but it's not for the faint of heart. The show is crazy, but Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson,
Beautiful.
best
Yeah.
performances they've ever given in anything. So
Is there any other things that you've watched lately? You watched American Psycho. What'd you think?
I thought that it was Psycho.
Good though?
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's not one that I would recommend to watch.
But Allie, there's something wrong with Allie
but
because
I've killed a lot of people.
anytime I show Allie like a super like heartwarming movie or like a fun, like a really fun and well like made movie, she's always
Like
like,
all your
"Yeah, it
favorite
was
movies?
okay." Yeah, and then like I'll show her like one that I'm like, I don't know if I should show her Silence of the Lambs. She's like, "That was one of the best movies you ever shown me." I'm like, "What the fudge?"
Because I like a movie where the villain is like not so scary. Get me here's the thing. He's so scary, but
Yeah,
like
like
he's
he's very
low-key
dashing.
friendly grandpa vibes to
Yeah,
that girl.
Friendly grandpa that will like, eat off your
chewing in her
face. But
face.
No doubt, no doubt. But like at the very end, the fact that like he calls her, spoiler alert, he calls her though at the end and he's like, bring, and she's like, it's like low-key her friend, even though he's a
see,
killer.
that's the message that she got from that film. That movie, that I was so scarred from watching it the first time that I was like, I don't know if I could ever watch this again. And that was why I was hesitant to show her because I'm like, I low-key don't even want to rewatch this. And then she was like, that was one of the best movies that you
For
showed me.
some reason, for some reason, it is so funny that like Anthony Hopkins is so larger than life in that movie role. Like I completely forget about the other serial killer, Buffalo Bill, and it. Yeah, yes, puts the lotion
No,
on the
he's
skin again.
actually he
It's
was
like,
way creepier.
um, I'm with Cameron. I don't. I am shocked that Allie liked it. I don't think Maddie would ever watch that movie with me. Maybe she's
And
already
and
seen it.
Maddie's seen it
Buffalo Bill is in Monk. He's the
Wait, how
detective
do you
that
know
helps
if
that
Maddie's
works
already
with
seen
Monk.
because I
it?
saw it with you guys back way back when we actually hung out.
Oh my gosh, so that was a movie that you showed me and my wife? Oh my gosh, no wonder she still hasn't talked to me in 10 years. Uh, I've unlocked the trauma. I figured it out. So funny.
No wonder she doesn't speak to me. Uh,
But what about you guys? Jordan's gonna say that you can check his letterbox, but is
Yeah,
there
Jordan.
is there
Yeah,
anything
Jordan,
that
you're not
sticks
editing the
out, Jordan?
podcast anymore. Tell
I
us.
was gonna say that.
Mhm.
Check my letterbox, Jordo0. Um,
And anything that stuck
o-
out.
only one that stuck out was because right now I'm cleaning out my movie collection, so basically everything is like 1 star. It's all trash. But I
Yeah,
did
and so,
rewatch.
some of the covers of these movies are concerning. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them too are like from directors I like, and it's like, oh, let's go dig through and find even their worst film because it's like if I love his work, I'll check out everything he's done, even if it's absolute
And even if
dog
the
crap.
director himself, again, doesn't want you to know that these movies exist or is ashamed that he had to just do what he had to do in order to get a job working for Hollywood.
Yeah, the only one that's of note, and I think you guys might like, is a movie called Night Watch. There is an American remake and an original foreign film. He directed both, so I mean they're both good. The problem is I saw the American one first, and so all the twists and stuff were so exciting. And so when I rewatched the foreign version, it was still really good, but it's like I already knew what was going to happen.
That is
What is, that's the Night
That was
Watch?
one of the movies I watched. Yeah.
I just am like scrolling on oh man, it's bringing tears in my eyes on Letterbox and I just read Incidental 38 Strange Action at a Distance 1/2 star by Jordan and I
It,
just said that to our group chat. I was like, is this a cry for help?
yeah, Ty sent that. That's right. Or
No,
was it
I
you,
said
Cameron?
that. I
Oh,
Oh,
said
that
you
was
said
Jordan.
it.
I
Cameron,
said
yeah.
Jordan, is this a cry for help? And then you just laughed at it, and that's all. Oh, that is the most traumatizing photo I have ever
Well,
seen.
it's your least favorite thing, Cameron. He does stop motion videos.
Oh.
It's the same guy that did oh, what's that movie? Slow motion or something? The stop motion? I don't remember what it's called, but
No idea.
Ty, you
The
watched
worst
it.
movie ever made, Chicken Run.
The worst
The movie that
movie.
the movie that still brings me has me have nightmares.
Oh, that's a good movie. What, the Mrs. Tweedy scares you, Cameron?
Bro. Pretty
Cameron
much like
wakes up in the
I feel
night
like a third
sweating.
of the movies you
You are
guys
going
showed
to
me
be
growing
a
up.
pie.
I feel like the third of the movie you guys showed me growing up gave me
Oh,
just nightmares.
yeah, it's just called stop motion. Oh, it was recommended by Red Letter Media, so I guess I thought you saw it, Ty.
No,
Maybe you
yeah,
didn't.
I think I had it on my watch list
Watch
initially,
this.
but then I don't think Red Letter Media really cared for it much, and I was like,
Yeah, because the stop motion is the best part, and that's the problem. It wasn't the whole film.
yeah, yeah.
The rest of the film, but he made some really good shorts. I do recommend The Separation.
Well,
It
see,
kind
that's the thing with stop motion. He realized just like Ben Wyatt from from Parks and Rec, where he's like,
9 seconds.
would a mentally unbalanced what did he say?
He's
Does
like, what?
can a
He's like, what?
depressed person do this or
Do
something?
this, and he shows it, and it's 9 seconds of footage, and
It's
he's
9 seconds. No, no, no. This took me 3 months to do.
no, 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 no.
Oh my gosh.
Ty, what about you?
what
What
about
have you
you?
seen?
Dude, I watched Sissy. This movie was one
I
part
watched it
Ingrid
too.
Goes West, one part In a Violent Nature. I mean, she turns into Commando.
History of Violence?
Yeah, History of Violence. Yeah, it turns into all those things. It's like John Wick or something. It's crazy. She gets activated.
Okay,
Some
the part I told you that
kill
I
truth.
thought you would laugh the hardest is when the handicapped kid
Okay, we're gonna
sees and
spoil it, but who
witnesses a
cares? This
murder,
thing is so
and then
funny.
he's trying to run away, and she's chasing him down to murder him. It's
There's like
so
this,
awful.
yeah, this like differently abled, or whatever the PC term is for a kid on a
Whatever.
crutch, is running away from this psycho woman because
In a
he's
wheelchair?
urinating on a
No, it
grave,
was
but then like
these like
falls
crutch
Oh, he's on
things.
down.
crutches.
Well, it's so bad because there's a scene where he's urinating on a grave. She buried it and gave like a little shrine. The guy's peeing on a grave unknowingly, but then like falls down and it like uncovers it a little bit and he like sees this woman's face and he's like looks at her and then she looks at
Yeah, then
him
looks
and
at
she's
her,
like
and it's like a comedy moment because he looks at her and
yeah,
looks at the
he looks
body,
at her and they like
and then he
stare at each
starts
other
to
for a minute and then he
run.
just starts like limping away and it's like where's he gonna go? He goes ends up on a cliff face and he's like, get back. He's like teetering on the edge, but then like someone calls out to him and then like his fault was like one of the funniest things. But I'm surprised. I thought it was the car running over for her
That
head.
made me laugh too. That was funny. Yeah.
It made me think of the effect from what's it from
Oh, Mandy.
Mandy. Yeah, squish Nick Cage squishing the cult leader's head. Yeah. It was such a dumb movie. I'm like, it made me want to watch all the other movies that obviously
Did it
inspired it. Like
better, yeah.
Ingrid Goes West was much better. Because like at the end, like I'm trying to think of like what they were even trying to say. It was like, oh, they're chasing clout, or they just want to do this for likes and clicks, or like she's still trying to keep the like she's an influencer, but she's like goes back to her fans to like re-energize her. I don't know how to describe it. Like she needs that validation from her fans. But and then she's talking to this one girl, like, I'm sorry if my presence here triggers you. And it's like, girl, you stabbed her in the face with a garden shear. Like, yeah, it's triggering, but it's like that's just such a the wrong word to use. Like a restraining order, like anything. This movie didn't make any sense. It was just dumb. But a perfectly good B movie, if you could argue if it's perfectly good. It's like a C movie, I guess. But
Well,
lots of
I
deaths.
just
The
liked all the
deaths were
reviews.
cool looking, but hilarious at times,
Well,
unintentionally funny.
I just liked all the reviews said she did nothing wrong.
Yeah, dude, Letterbox is cooked, dude. I don't know what's going on with Letterbox. Everyone's like, "Oh, she's justified," and I was like, "Our generation, our world is screwed. Our world is screwed. Like this is,
Uh,
they think this is justifiable behavior." Yikes. So Sissy was weird. Um, and then, dude, I can't go without mentioning this. I'm gonna mention it every week as I watch a new episode of Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal on
yes.
HBO. This last episode, it's one of those that's out there, and I was like, I don't know, I was almost looked away from cringe. It was the craziest thing. Like, if you've seen the episode, you know, Jordan. Did you see
Yeah,
episode
episode three.
three?
Of course I saw it.
All I could say is
I
there's
show I
some
showed
long
It
Allie
legs.
the rebate episode.
the
Oh,
rebate?
love.
Oh, yes.
That's literally, it brings me actual pain to watch those things. Also, I've seen like some of his other stuff. I literally can't tell you at what point in my life that I watched them, but I remember it also bringing me great pain back then as well. So it's an adequate and consistent amount of horrible pain to watch.
I need to show her the rehearsal, especially season one is
Yeah.
the most
The re-
unreal thing
yeah,
that's
the
ever been.
rehearsal is like a step above all that. And I feel like, oh my gosh, it's just like mind bending.
Yeah.
Yeah, this this episode was so, I mean, like cringe-inducing, but like also just out of the show. But he does something, let's just say, like it didn't quite. And again, we're in the third episode here, but like
It
the
kind of reminded me
moral
of Barbarian,
ambiguity of
that
what he
one
did in
scene.
season one, it
Well,
does hurt me. Like
didn't it
making
remind you of that scene from Barbarian? It's just like the
yes,
the milk.
100%. That's hilarious that you said that because I was thinking that too. And I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, you just brought two triggering things back to me. Yeah. So gross. Cameron, have you seen the episode?
I
No,
have not seen the episode. I've seen Barbarian though.
I
Oh,
did show
okay.
him tied the part episode
The
2, the
Germany
scene,
part.
the Germany. Remember where Germany banned one of his episodes?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should and I showed him that scene. I just love what he's like looking out the window contemplating, and there's all these
Soldiers
Nazis.
dressed in Nazi attire. Yeah, that was great. Paramount Plus. Yeah. I do what yeah, I do not think your apology is genuine. Here you are, you're sitting in my office comparing us all to
I
Nazis.
I
So
I'm
funny.
glad I bought that episode before they banned it because there's an episode of South Park that got banned that I never got my hands on before they removed it. They
Probably find it on eBay, right? Or
Well, yeah,
digitally.
you could buy like a physical copy, sure, but I'm just saying like digital copies once you
But then
buy
it's not a part of the collection time.
Yeah.
So
Exactly,
it's like
Ty.
I
it
know,
never
right?
happened.
But yeah, other than that, like that's been pretty much what's taken up my time. I haven't watched too much else. I think that was everything. That now I can leave my review for thank you for your service because watching, Amy Schumer being a crying widow of a dead army man was still funnier than all four of her
Oh my
comedy specials
gosh.
combined, dude. I just can't reiterate that enough.
Bit
And
nicer to Amy. She's just a girl.
wait,
She
what
is
was
that
that,
ugly.
Allie?
She's just a girl, Ali said. She said be nice, Ty.
Oh, be nice because she's a girl. I don't know. If you've seen her comedy special, she's a piece of work. I'll tell you that much.
Not to
She's
mention
not
ugly
only is
I
she a
and
joke
I
fat.
like
thief,
I
but
like
can't
South
even deliver a laugh. Like,
I like South Park's parody of her. It's very funny. You should watch it.
I'll have to check it out. I didn't
Yeah.
know they did one of her. Good.
Not of her. It was just of who's the worst character? What's his name? Who the characters in South Park? What's the worst character? He's like
Oh,
so mean.
Cartman.
Cartman. Yeah, so Cartman, he tries to be her and because he's like, look, I can be a girl, I can be funny too. He starts making really
I'm
nasty
already
jokes.
laughing at an impression and one sentence from what you said, and I've laughed more times than I have in all of Amy Schumer's stand-up combined.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
no, I'm not kidding. There are YouTube channels strictly devoted. Like I actually found this one. It was I watched all of Amy Schumer's stand up and tried to laugh. And the guy just has Amy Schumer's special and he's sitting there the whole time just watching it. He doesn't crack a single smile or laugh. And I laughed like the entire time. Because every time she delivered what was quote unquote a joke, he just sits there and he's just not impressed. He has no reaction to what she's saying. I'm laughing just thinking about it. Like it's amazing. And I'm like, see, that is impressive. That guy's gonna get way more way more views and way more positive feedback than the comedian known as Amy Schumer. I'm sorry, Allie, do you like her comedy or do you know of her comedy?
No, I've never partaken, but I shan't partake now.
Yeah,
So
she's a
She's just
joke
coming to the
thief.
defense of all women. In reality, you can just keep roasting her because Allie
Yeah,
doesn't actually care.
I
Allie
honestly think
feels
she got
obligated
herself
to
in
like
bad water
give
when
her
she became
plea
the
for
joke
women,
thief.
like stop. But it's not like heartfelt.
battle. I won't go to battle, but I'll send a nice statement.
It's a
I'll throw
gesture.
it out there. Women can be very funny.
Yeah,
Um,
I know. I'm one of them, luckily. Thank you for thanks for laughing. That wouldn't have been good if you didn't laugh. That meant the world to me. Seriously, that did.
That's right.
Also, Amy did actually do kind of good at the end of the movie in a way that means like she spoke 4 words literally, but
Yeah, I thought she did
she
fine.
redeemed
I think that
herself
was
at the
enough,
end from being cringy and annoying in the beginning. She redeemed herself towards the end, I feel like. Do you agree, Cameron?
Yeah, I was saying that earlier.
I was also like, yeah, you can just give up all that money and give it to Miles Teller. Um, you should.
Oh my gosh. Blood
Just give up
money.
all your money. No, I'll throw out one last thing too. Like, um, I think she got herself initially in hot water because she was a joke thief, and then slowly people were like, she's
Eh,
not funny, she's this or that. But anyway, that's
Yeah, but a lot of jokes are taken from it's like, is anything original?
no, that's funny you say that. But there were what's so terrifying is The jokes are beat for beat.
I've
Or
heard the side by side. Yeah.
yeah, you watch the side by side because even if you were like, oh, like they're talking about the same thing, you'll watch comedians joke about the same type of thing. But when
Yeah.
you literally take beat for beat the joke, you're like, you just lifted this and stole it. Like, not
Yeah.
even like, oh, we're both joking about being fat and lazy and overweight. Like, that's me being Jim Gaffigan. But it's like, oh, you literally had the same setup and punchline. Like, it's just
Yeah.
plagiarism. So, anyway. And it's just weird because you're like, you're taken from all these other famous comedians. Like, I guess she just didn't. Well, one, I think it's because she doesn't write her own material. So her other workers, writers for her are
She used
taking jokes from
AI.
other comedians that are less famous. Anyway, the internet exists. People caught it. And so now she's just been kind of defamed that way. But anyway, that being said, who do I think is funny that is a woman? Here, let's see. Um,
You like McCartney, isn't that her name?
McCartney.
Mc, the one. What's her name?
I do like, is it Julia Dreyfus? Is that her name? Julia Dreyfus from Seinfeld. She's hilarious. The
Uh,
chick from Seinfeld. Is
yeah,
it
she's really good
Louise
in
Dreyfus?
Arrested Development. Oh my
Louise?
gosh, she plays the blind lawyer.
Yeah, yeah, the lawyer. Yeah, hilarious. She's hilarious.
She's so bad.
Or even the mother in freaking Arrested Development. She's hilarious. Everything she says. Juanita, when you finish up, don't steal anything. Just the worst individual of all time.
Have
She's
you
so
seen
funny.
AP Bio? The three teachers, they're
I watched the
hilarious.
pilot of that, I think, right?
Oh, you need to watch it. The first two seasons, season 3 and 4, meh.
I can't remember that between that and Vice Principals. They're the same thing in my head.
Well, I mean, yes, but one is TVMA and one's TV 14. So,
Okay. Is AP Bio 14?
yeah.
Got it.
So
I
it's
did. Oh, and then I watched the first episode, Righteous Gemstones, and that made me laugh.
that's all you watched? You didn't watch more? And Cameron, when are you gonna finish Dexter? Nugget! Watch more than 2 episodes.
There's too much on my plate.
All right, yeah, you're true. And now you're showing Allie a whole
I know it's
collection.
hard. It's hard because I have to like rewatch everything I've ever watched.
Another thing on his plate is that I think that I'm gonna make him start watching what's it called? Oh, Love on the Spectrum.
Oh,
Oh, is that the autistic
the
kids?
the Australian version is actually really cool. I like that.
Hmm.
It's a good show.
Oh,
Are you watching the American one or is that the Australian one?
The American one.
Yeah, the
um,
Australian one was really endearing. It kind of reminds
also,
me of like the Great British Baking Show. Other countries have tried to replicate it. It's not good. The Australian one is genuinely very sweet and
I'm gonna show
very
her The
heartwarming.
Chosen because she's watched one episode of The Chosen, and this is the girl with the Jesus podcast. So yeah, she's a fraud.
Actually, sorry that I take it from the source, the Bible.
Yeah,
Sorry
she's
about
like
that.
The
actually
Bible got its stuff from The Chosen.
What?
I
Bad.
know. I love seeing the comments where like, don't spoil this show for me. I really hope this thing works out for Jesus. I don't
That's
know. I thought
funny.
that was so funny. He's like, I really hope he. I don't know. I
Really
thought that
like
was
this
so
Judas
funny. It's like,
guy.
I hope this whole revolution thing works out. It was just making me laugh. Like, obviously a troll, but it was just so good. Like, no spoilers, please. And someone's like, have you read the Bible?
Well, I get that way anytime people talk about it because the next episode, I'm like, oh, don't tell me, even though you know the story, but you don't
Yeah.
know what part of the Bible they're going to talk about.
Yeah, Ty, you don't know.
You don't know. You'll never know. Great show though. But yeah, I'm surprised you only seen one episode, Allie. Was it just out of
She's kind of, like anti-Bible.
I've seen like 4 episodes now, and I like them. I've cried in every single episode. But
Yeah.
then he's like, "Do you want to watch something about serial killers before or after The Chosen?" I'm like, "Oh,
Balance.
that's so true. I
Moments of
forgot."
levity. Yeah, you gotta have
Yeah.
moments of
Uh-huh.
little
And sometimes I'm just like, well, I feel like at what point is this like mocking to Christianity if I sit down and watch Jesus right after I just watched brains and guts all over the screen. You know what I mean? But
Hey, Jesus loves sinners.
That's so
Now I'm confused about
true.
what brains and guts is this? What was that one?
She's talking about like the serial killer movies.
Mm, brains and guts. But and yet, Silence of the Lambs, you're chasing that high. You're like, what a wonderful movie. Charming villain. Ugh. Like,
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins scares me no matter how charming he is. He's like Jack Nicholson in that regard. It's like, oh, he's playing the likable guy, and I'm like, he still scares the heck out of me. Who's falling for this? Who finds him charming? I've always thought he was scary. Oh man. Well, uh, thanks for sharing, everybody. I think that's everything. Jordan, you shared everything you watched. Pitiful. You and me need to watch more stuff. We need to
No,
Oh,
get up to Cameron's
Jordan
level.
watches
Now
more
we're
than me,
we're
but
doing a serious movie
Jordan
podcast. None of this Mickey
for
Mouse
reference,
stuff.
Jordan's watching is audio hearing. He's audio booking all half of his movies while at work. So if that even counts as watching the movies.
I like to think that Jordan has only listened to Thank You for Your Service. He never watched it.
no, I did sit through it and I watched it. I used to do that, Cameron. Actually, now I do sit down and watch them. Occasionally I'll skip through, not like skip. I just like hit the 10 seconds. If it's getting slow, I'm just like, tick, tick, and I
You'll
go
just do
to
the
the
Grant. Oh, are they dialogue?
yeah. I do that, especially on some of these like old school slashers. I just want to get to the kill.
Yeah. You have to get to the kill so you can give it half star.
I know. Like I was just about to say, I'm like, yeah,
I'm
I
like,
just skipped through the movie so I get no fulfillment out of it, but I can still say I did it and
yeah.
put a review on Letterboxd and IMDb.
No, I skipped. So right now, because I'm cleaning out my collection, so I'm just like, is there anything worthy of my time, and is it worthy of my collection? And most of the time, occasionally I do find one. I'm like, oh, perfect. I stop
You
and
know,
I
some sane people ask these questions before they purchase a movie and make it part of their collection. But
yeah.
in your case, Jordan, you do not, and that makes you you.
Well,
So,
I was kind of being a completionist. It's like, oh, if I bought the first one, then I'll buy the entire series. And then I'm going through a series of like Free Willy, you know. I got Free Willy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
because
6.
we all
There's
remember that
6.
I
that
think there's like a
amazing
ton. I don't know how many there is.
masterpiece, Free Willy. No, I'll be honest, the first one, that movie was a banger. I remember loving that movie as a kid. I was like,
It is a banger. I literally sobbed crying uncontrollably the first time I watched it. Then my parents vowed to never let me watch a
did
sad
did you cry with the sound of the whale? I was like,
so real. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I just was in unison with Willie. You know what I mean?
I still can hear the orca's cries in my head. I mean, I can.
Literally devastating film. So heartbreaking and beautiful. Ah, I'm not sure
Whatever
I can
happened to
watch
that
it with you.
kid?
I actually rewatched it for the first time in like 12 years last year, and I did cry watching it again. I want you to know.
That's not saying much, though, respectfully.
Whatever, major loser.
That's what they say to me all the time, Allie. They completely make fun of me. Oh, it doesn't matter because Jordan cries in every movie.
I'm just glad that that whale could leave captivity that it's known for all its life to go die the first day in the wild by some whalers or something. I mean,
Just harpoon right in the eye.
just harpoon right away, or just like go out and like murder some, paddleboardists or whatever, who are
Yeah.
just out in the ocean, just murdering people, and they're like, "There's this killer whale."
Yeah, or kill. Yeah, killer whales are also like the only one of the only species known to kill animals, for fun. Yeah,
Like
they and sometimes
for
what they'll do
sport.
is they'll launch sea lions up in the air with their tail and let the fall kill them. And then a lot of times they won't even eat those sea lions they launch. They literally just send them flying. They send them flying, let them die, and then just like leave them.
Dude, I love that they're
They're the
just
criminals of the ocean, dude.
these are just like
That would be Cam if anything ever traumatizes him enough to become a serial killer. That's what Cam's gonna do. He's gonna murder for fun.
You heard it here, folks. We all know who
Cameron's
would be the
like,
first victim, though.
in this office, in this work meeting, Cameron's just like, hey, everybody choose your spirit animal. If you had an animal you most relate to and why. It's like, it'd have to be the orca because I
They
am
kill for fun.
living out my fantasy as a Clockwork Orange gang member, you know?
Yeah.
I torture baby seals for fun. It's great. That's insane, but it doesn't surprise me. They keep making these documentaries like every few years. They're like, whaling is a problem. And then on the other side, they're like, keeping the whales in captivity is a problem. And they keep showing like the whale doing stupid tricks for fish, but then like ultimately like murders the I don't know what to call it, the marine fish trick teacher. They always
It's
murder the marine biologist and they like eat him.
the person keeping it hostage, you mean, Ty?
Yeah, it's captor. It's like
Do the trick, Willie.
do the trick. He keeps blowing that high pitched whistle, and it's like it scrambles my brain.
Yeah,
It slaps
what
his...
they need is Ace Ventura.
Dude, I always think of that human giant sketch where what's his face?
Beeping what?
His
That's my
guys,
girlfriend.
there's an amazing show out there where
That's
they
my
go to SeaWorld and Shamu or whatever the whale's name comes out of the water and kisses his girlfriend on the face, and the boyfriend gets jealous of the whale,
that's my
breaks up
girl.
with his girlfriend, and,
You
and
beeping what?
all of his friends are like, dude, you broke up with your girlfriend because she kissed a whale? It's like it's just a stupid fish. It's a
Doing
stupid
tricks for fish.
it's just it's a stupid dolphin doing tricks for fish.
Go back and get her back.
Get out there and win her back. And he goes back and finds his girlfriend with a whale.
And then it shoots him with its blowhole, just hits him with a wave of water. It's like
Oh
a
my
beach ball
gosh,
that rolls out.
it's amazing. I think Human Giants is one of the funniest shows, dude. We need to find that. Is it
It's
somewhere?
you can watch it on the internet. I've pulled it up. It's not as funny as we remember when we were kids. It's
You're right. It's funnier than when we were kids. That's for sure. There's like $600,000 in here. Hey, I don't know, guys. We could take this money, but months, maybe years from now, this $500,000 will tear our friendship apart. $500,000. What happened to the other 100,000? Yeah, trying to skim a little off the top there. No, I was just guessing.
It's just guessing.
Swings his axe and cuts him down. Ah! What the heck, man? He was double crossing us. Looks like you two were in pretty tight.
There's okay. Speaking of a movie just like that you guys need to check out, Sam Raimi did one, um, and it's about they find a bunch of money. It is so good. I've seen it so many times. Why can't I think of the
Oh, I haven't
freaking
heard of
title?
this. What is this?
But I recommend it.
Definitely
I've got
share it. Well, you guys,
yep.
I'm excited. Cameron, what was that one movie you
A
mentioned? I
Simple
needed to
Plan.
a
And
The
simple plan.
the rental or the gift?
Oh, it's called a simple plan.
Oh yeah.
All I could think of is the I'm just a kid. I know life is not fair.
Life
Oh, I
is a
thought you were,
nightmare.
oh my gosh. I thought you were thinking of like a simple plan. It's a movie, not the band.
Sorry, what movie were you saying, Cameron?
Oh my gosh.
Wait, Ty, were you wondering about this movie?
I cry for
Um,
help.
I think the were you talking about the rental or were you talking about the gift?
Oh yeah, so Rental was
Ooh,
one of them.
rental.
No, I've already
The
seen The
rental was
Gift.
fun. Oh, you already seen the gift.
I
Yeah, the
saw the
rental was
rent.
pretty
No,
fun.
I want to see Rental, and then you mentioned one other that you gave it a 9. You said it was
Oh,
like a
it's
4.
5 centimeters per second.
That's the one.
I don't
It's
know
Thank
if
you.
Ty will like that one though, Cameron. Do you think?
did you enjoy Past Lives, Ty? Have you seen that?
I liked Past Lives. I mean, we talked about it
Okay.
on the pod, right? Past Lives was the two
Yeah,
Asians that like each other. That
yeah.
Oh, we
Um,
didn't do an episode of it, but we talked about it.
yeah. If you enjoyed
oh,
Past
did we
Lives,
not do an episode on it? Cameron,
I
he's the
thought we
hopeless romantic.
did.
I'm pretty sure we did it, Jordan.
No, maybe we
No.
didn't.
We did Past Lives, guys. I'm almost
No,
certain.
past lives, yes. I'm
Oh,
sorry. I thought you said the one where the girls are Freaky Friday. What
Your
was that one?
name.
Your name. I'm sorry. I was
oh,
thinking of your
okay.
name.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You guys are
Um,
blowing my mind. I'm like, we had the hopeless
We
romantics
did
on
do
talking about
past
how great
lives.
Past
yeah.
Lives. I like
Um,
Past Lives. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's essentially just like kind of an animated version of Past Lives.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's really short. It's like an hour, 5 minutes. So that's what's nice. It's like split up into 3 episodes, kind of similar. It's honestly very similar pacing, sort of, to Past Lives, where it's like them as kids, them as like the in between where they're kind of still contacting, and then it's like
I'll tell you
like
what, I'll
later
do
on.
past lives if you give common side effects a chance, Cameron. Show's great, dude.
I watched the first episode with Jordan.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it, Ty. It's all right.
I didn't like the first episode either, and then I kept watching, and man, the
I'd be
show
down to
picks up.
watch more if Jordan wants to watch it with me, but I don't know that I'd
You
watch
know
it
what I've
alone.
learned too? Like pilot episodes, you need it's the hardest thing. Shows have this weird thing with pilot episodes. I even noticed the animation style does change after the first episode.
Hmm.
There's some really clever animated, like cleverly animated moments. Like one of them is this brother that runs a pet shop, and every scene he's in is freaking hilarious.
Hmm.
But anyway,
He,
and he's always in his underwear for some reason. Get this guy some pants. He's
But yeah,
never.
I'm also considering maybe going to the theaters to watch. There's a couple of things out that look sort of interesting. Like the Rami Malek is in kind of like it looks like John Wick-ish vibe where it's like he worked for the CIA and then his wife is killed. Um,
Is that the black bag or no? There's something else. What's it
no, it's
called?
called The Amateur.
The Amateur. Yeah. No.
mm,
But yeah, it looks like interesting. I've also like been wanting to see the Minecraft movie just because I like want to see. I know it's not going to be great, but
chicken jockey.
I don't know.
yeah,
You should go to one of those theaters that's like
people are
doing
bringing
the
live chickens
ironic.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
The iron. Yeah. The
I'm
live stream.
also interested. It might be the first movie I see in theaters, Marvel movie since Multiverse of Madness, with Thunderbolts. I've heard really good things about it. Everyone's saying that, or like a lot of critics are saying it's the best movie since Endgame, which I mean, pretty low bar, but
Yeah. Did anyone see a Marvel movie in the theaters after Endgame?
No, we saw just the
the Guardians
James
of the
Gunn one,
Galaxy
Guardians of the
was
Galaxy.
I got
good,
tricked
and
into
then
watching Black Widow, and I was like, I think I'm done.
yeah,
I learned
but
that women need to hurt themselves to get the attention of a man, is what I took away from that.
but
And I
yeah,
was
so
Oh
like,
my
that
gosh.
talk
that
about
one looks
putting women back another
that
50
one kind of looks
years.
interesting just because it's literally just Marvel's version of Suicide Squad, and I enjoyed the Suicide Squad, and so it kind of looks
Mm,
like that same ish vibe.
Yeah,
And plus I love what's his name, Jim Hopper from Stranger Things. I think he's great. Also in what's the Jake Gyllenhaal one, End of Watch. I think he's just overall like pretty good
David
actor.
Harbour, the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So probably will maybe see it for $5 Tuesday. Also, if you guys haven't seen it, I think you guys would enjoy Sinners. Maybe just see it for
I
$5
did
Tuesday
want
or
to see
something.
Sinners. That did look interesting.
The music is
Well,
like
it's so
honestly,
crazy because
you'll be listening to the music the rest of the week. It's a fun,
yeah,
really good soundtrack, and it's Ludwig, of course, because he's a genius.
Ludwig Göransson or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Göransson. I can't say his name, but I'm like Ludwig, my boy,
yeah.
Ludi. Dude, yeah, his work in Tenet and in
Death
Oppenheimer
Wish.
is freaking great.
Oppenheimer's so good. Yeah.
Death
I would want to
Wish.
throw out one last thing. I know, yeah, movies we're looking forward to. I think May is a banger of a month. We've got freaking what was it called?
Is it
The
28
Mission
Days Later?
Impossible movie.
Oh yeah, the Mission Impossible is gonna be so
Like
good.
28 years, I think, is
That
next
comes out
month in
June.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
like
I'm
we're
so
talking
excited for
back-to-back
the Mission
months where I'm
Impossible.
like in the theaters to see movies I'm very excited for. So Mission Impossible, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it spoils the stunt that he performs. The guy's hanging out of like a tiny airplane, and it's
Yeah,
just so awesome.
it's
I'm
cool.
like, Dadgum, Tom Cruise. He even has it in the trailer where he's like, just trust me one last time. And I was like, he's literally begging me to go back to the movies. I'm like, I'm there,
Are
Tom.
you gonna see the Raka Raka new movie, or are you gonna wait?
The Raka Raka movie.
I
Oh,
don't. The
the
Philippines,
brothers that
Filippo.
made Talk to Me.
Yeah,
I didn't know they had a new movie. What is it?
yeah. It's coming out. Allie made a funny comment in the theater, something about it being scary or whatever. But bring her back.
I'll check it out. I haven't even seen the trailer for it. Maybe if yeah, I missed it so
Yeah, it's
far.
just like lots of it. Just I don't know. It looked like a cult or something, and I don't even know how to describe
I
It's
it.
very
almost
up
wonder,
Jordan's
yeah,
alley.
I I wonder if
Well,
this is the new way to prove yourself. It's like these young upcoming directors, they have to do a horror movie. And then if it does well, you have to do like a second horror movie or a twist. Like I'm like, you can make a different movie, right?
No,
No,
I
they're
thought
like,
they were gonna do Street Fighter, but I don't know. That just never ended up happening. I guess they wanted to do another horror, so
that is hilarious. Street Fighter would be right up their alley if they made it
yeah,
like
because
their
they're really good at action.
practical. Yeah, they're good at throwing the practical with special, very quick edits and stuff. I feel like yeah, they could make a movie like Upgrade very easy. Like it'd be right up their alley.
Yeah.
Upgrade's so
Um,
good. And
Upgrades.
Upgrade is made by what's his name? Isn't it made by the
He just made
and
Wolfman. Did anybody see that one yet?
I
no?
didn't see it yet. Was it good? I wanted to see it,
I
but I saw the
haven't
reviews
seen it.
weren't
The
as good as Invisible
yeah,
Man.
and also the trailer. And Invisible Man was good, but if you watch the complete trailer of Invisible Man, it's practically the movie. It's at
Yeah.
least the first half of the movie. But that was just kind of the spoiler that they were like,
I
oh wait,
struggle with
he's
like Wolfman
alive
movies.
and
American
he's
Werewolf in London, I think, is
invisible.
the best, and I don't think any movie's topped it. Is there a better movie than American Werewolf in London?
For werewolves.
I mean,
Mm,
maybe Harry Potter 3. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's a good werewolf movie.
I can't think of one right
Yeah, I
now.
don't know. I feel like it's
Yeah,
got
I'd say
John.
those two are the best werewolf movies. So proving wrong, like if someone out there's like, oh, like I don't know, like I guess I've always wanted to see Teen Wolf, but I've never watched it. I like Michael J.
Allie just
Fox.
said Twilight.
Good
If you
call.
could see.
I
See,
like it.
who said women can't be funny? And with that, we're gonna end the
Oh my
podcast.
gosh.
Peace.
Guys, thanks again. Tune in. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. We love you, listeners. Leave us a comment, like our videos, share them, and tell us a movie you'd like us to review next. Until next time, see you later.
Bye.
He could
Peace.
kill himself with a tank.